All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Gimme 5. Now, we have documented what took place yesterday in cities around the country. We let you hear calls for violence, calls on the part of one protester saying that people have to die. You know, it's insane. It's scary. It's getting out of control already after one night, and it's insane, and I think it's only going to grow, in part because of the irresponsibility of many people. We saw a protester being beaten, a protester. We saw protesters, or thugs, I should say, in Chicago beating a white man because he voted for Trump, or they thought he voted for Trump. Where's the Attorney General of the United States saying this will not be tolerated, or the President of the United States saying this will not be tolerated? And then we have the cable networks. They got a storyline again, baby. Protests with arrests and maybe confrontations with cops. Windows were broken yesterday in certain cities, violence in certain cities. This is, you know, hey, ratings, new storyline. And it all surrounds Donald Trump. Now, Van Jones has been allowed over the last 24 hours to spew garbage on CNN, saying people are calling me and they're worried that they're going to be put in internment camps. So rather than say in the next breath, of course I tell these people, there are no internment camps, calm down, this is ridiculous, he doesn't say that. And that led to a confrontation on CNN I want you to watch.
Muslim parents that are afraid right now aren't afraid because these kids with these signs. They're afraid because he said over and over again that he wanted to ban people of their faith. That lands like a bomb in the lap.
Coming into the country.
Hold on a second. You want to explain to me why people who are scared shouldn't be afraid, and you want.
But for you to say internment camps,
hey, I didn't say internment camps. Hey, people are afraid of that.
But you should correct that. You should correct that fear. That's not true. Donald Trump has never proposed internment camps.
Lecture me
you
on
have
this
to
stage.
correct that fear.
You guys won, and you need to back off.
He says to Kayleigh McInerney, you know, the blonde, very pretty, very well-spoken, great surrogate, or she's not a surrogate, she's a CNN employee, I think, for Trump. Great surrogate for Trump. And he's saying to her, don't lecture me, back off. And he's allowed to get away with it. Watch.
You need to have a little bit of empathy and understanding for people who are afraid, because your candidate has been one of the most explosively provocative candidates in the history of our country, and there's a price to be paid for that. And hold on a second.
Let him finish.
I am not finished. I'm not going to be talked over tonight. I'm not.
Ooh, you see, Van, you don't have, that's not your show. And you can only get away with saying that and badgering a woman again and again. That was number 2. There'll be number 3. You'll see that. If the host, Anderson Cooper, lets you. And he let him more.
You have people who are terrified, and you have to take some responsibility for it. I am not spreading the terror. I am trying to damp it down. Let me finish my point.
I laugh. It's not funny. It's not funny. He's an employee of CNN. She's an employee of CNN. It's incumbent upon Anderson Cooper to keep some sort of, civility going there. But you see, it's the Clintonite, it's the radical leftist, reportedly former communist, that gets the stage, gets to point his finger, wag his finger, and yell and scream at another CNN employee because she's a Trump supporter. That is CNN. And it's that kind of garbage coming out of Van Jones's mouth, and the actions of, or the inaction of the host to allow that kind of confrontation between a very strong-looking, powerful man and a woman, and allowing him to berate her 3 times, that leads to people thinking, well, this is serious stuff. Internment camps and deportations, breaking up families. Maybe I should run. Maybe I'm scared. It's very, very, very dangerous. And here's one more.
You have people, Latino families, who say, this guy has said he's going to deport millions of people. They don't know, should they sell their homes? They are terrified. That is a real fear. You have Muslims who have heard him say nothing good about the Muslim community the entire campaign. That's a real fear. And so they've heard him say, maybe he said it, but that's not what broke through. And so what we have to be able to do now, if you want unity, and I want unity, and I'm working harder for unity than anybody on this stage, I guarantee you, If you want unity, we have to hear the pain first before you tell people they're wrong to hurt.
He's working harder for unity than anyone else up there on that stage? Really? By bringing up phone calls that we're supposed to believe he got? Personally, I don't believe him. Muslim women are calling him. Hispanic mothers are calling him. They're all concerned about internment camps. And so until now, they weren't concerned. Until now, Van Jones didn't get these calls from these same people. They got to be friends. They have his phone number. So until now, no one ever called him and said, if Donald Trump gets elected, am I going to be in an internment camp? It's only now, right? He had no opportunity to tell this to his friends. They got to be friends to have his number. In the past year and a half, there were no internment camps. What are you, crazy? Calm down. You know, Donald Trump has gone back on saying deport all the illegals. He's talking about the criminals. Calm down. He did not say not let any Muslims into this country. He's talking about from terrorist countries or areas of terrorism until they can be vetted. Calm down. All of these friends of Van Jones suddenly have started calling Van Jones and making these radical, wild-eyed claims. And that's what Van Jones has to relay to us, these radical, wild-eyed claims that we're supposed to believe are coming from his friends who have his phone number all of a sudden. And it's incumbent upon Donald Trump to do something about it. No. Why don't you tell your friends and tell the audience right now, hey, folks, I'm getting these calls, okay, from people I know because they have my phone number. And they're asking me, they're talking about internment camps and mass deportations, and should I send my daughter to school? Well, calm down, folks. There's no internment camps. It's not true. But Van Jones doesn't say that. You heard Kayleigh McInerney say it's incumbent upon us to relay that information. He doesn't. He doesn't. He says that's what they believe, and it's Donald Trump's fault. And so he puts it out there. And he just keeps it going. And CNN lets it happen. And I got to tell you, there's been one person who's been above the fray a little bit on this particular issue of stop spreading the falsehoods and let's get the facts out there and let's be responsible with our platform. And that's, believe it or not, Don Lemon. In this instance, he's been responsible. All right, folks, as you know, many celebrities, I wish Van Jones was one of them, promised to leave the United States if Trump should win the election. And, I think he did win the election. So let's see if any of them follow through. And for a list who said what and where they want to go and are they going, let's turn to our own Bill Tucker with this.
The website for immigration to Canada collapsed on election night. Celebrities began furiously Googling Brexit. The end of the world had arrived. Trump won the presidency. The afternoon of the election, Barry Diller promised a President Trump would mean a Canadian Diller. The entertainment and real estate tycoon joined a long list of those promising to up and leave the USA. Miley Cyrus, Whoopi Goldberg, Samuel L. Jackson, George Lopez, Jon Stewart, Cher, Raven-Symoné, Lena Dunham, Rosie O'Donnell, Al Sharpton, Barbra Streisand, Alec Baldwin. It won't happen. They might buy a vacation home in the south of France, but nobody really moves. They just like to be publicly dramatic. And boy, did they amp it up on election night. To be fair, not every celebrity was suicidal. Some, in fact, were downright thrilled. And then this happened. A tweet came from the self-declared foe of Trump, Mark Cuban. Sometimes guidance and sanity comes from unexpected and welcome places. God bless America.